Hey everyone, and welcome back. When we last left off, we had just beaten our very first gym leader, Faulkner. This is our PokePaths playthrough through Pokemon Gold, so please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, follow, ring the bell, follow us on social media, all the above. So, when we had last left off, we had just finished our battle, and now that we leave... Oh. Hello, MC Stan. Ooh, there's something about the egg in Violet City. Could we talk to... I'm not sure. Okay, well, let's see. And right in here, I always thought that we had to go all the way back to Professor Elm's lab, but instead he just has his assistant bring us the egg immediately, which is really convenient for us at least. So unfortunately, Togepi and Togetic did not make Mary Kate's list of approved Pokemon. So unfortunately, we'll have to box this egg pretty immediately. So thanks for this, Professor Elm, but I think we're gonna have to deposit it. I always love hatching the egg. There's some cool stuff that does go on if you do hatch it, which maybe we'll get into. But you know what, while we're in here, let's heal up. One thing I should mention that I did was I have actually switched out my GameCube controller here, and I am using my Game Boy SP to be my controller from now on. So after much consternation on that end, we finally switched out. One thing I did not do, though, is I did not play and get some more berries, because while I was away for work the past little bit, I realized that if I would have left, I would have missed the Professor Elm call. This NPC usually blocks your path from getting down south here, so you're not able to head on down. He will give you the Miracle Seed, though, which we can use and pretty immediately and give it right to Kevin Garvey. But anyway, so he will block your ability to move forward unless you beat the gym. Part of the reason is because of a Pokemon that you can find in here, a Mareep, who only has a 10% chance of appearing at night, but will be able to, would be super effective against Faulkner's entire gym. Would essentially just make it a complete breeze. In Heart Gold and Soul Silver, they did fix that. They added a little bit of a route north, which does help a little bit to get through some of that. So that first gym, especially if you pick, I don't know, Chikorita. All right, youngster Albert. Let's see what youngster Albert will throw at us. Now, it is a Wednesday, and I say that because you might remember in the very beginning of the game, we had to disclose what day of the week it was. And part of that is because of what we like to call the weekday siblings. And so those are siblings, 7 of them, who are scattered throughout the Johto region. Nice, Nora. Oh, and we hit. Sorry, Zubat. Much better than getting confused. But anyway, so they are siblings who are scattered throughout the Johto region, and they will give you different items based on the day of the week. One of the... Oh, and here we go. On our second try, we ran into our Mareep. Let's see what happens if we hit it with a tackle. That's a great cry. You know, I like that cry so much. I think we're going to throw a Pokeball at you. Oh no! Does Mareep not want to join our team? That would be a little sad. I thought for sure we were about to catch it there. Come on, Mareep. Oh man. Alright. It's going to be a little bit more difficult than we thought, but with our attack being lowered so much, maybe it could survive one more tackle. If it breaks out here, we're going to tackle it one more time. Alright, let's... Ooh, this is going to be risky. Ah, nice. Okay, so anyway, let's see if Mareep now wants to join our team. Just wanted to be a little feisty. And there we go. A feisty male Mareep. If static electricity builds up in its body, its fleece doubles in volume. Touching it will shock you. I will give this Mareep a nickname. And because it was feisty, because it's a sheep that's sacrificial, I'm going to name it after an interesting character from Leftovers. Holy Wayne. Holy Wayne is a Messiah-like character who essentially believes that he can hug people's pain away. And the hugging is associated with taking away their pain, primarily from not understanding why certain people in Leftovers were taken away from them, etc. And so Holy Wayne believes he's essentially a Messiah figure, and he reaches a interesting end, we'll say. But because he's feisty in the show, because Mareep there was a little feisty, because he thinks he's a Messiah-like figure, and the lamb, I think it's a very fitting name. One thing I'm realizing now is that I haven't really explained the premise of Leftovers, I don't think. So, Leftovers is a show where when you start off the very first episode, you are placed immediately into a world where 2% of the world's population has just disappeared overnight. And the show takes place about 3 years after that event. And so you see how the world has changed since that 2% of the population disappeared. I'm realizing we never talked to Albert. Okay, well, that's good for you, Albert. We're gonna use Strong and our favorite Pokemon. Wooper. You know, Wooper made the list of Mary Kate favorites. I think I can disclose that, but we're not going to be using Wooper and Quagsire, unfortunately, although I would like to. So anyway, the show takes place after this mass event. And yeah, it's really about people initially just trying to understand what happened and why it happened. I'm realizing now we should have probably put Kevin Garvey in against that Wooper. Double Whopper, triple Whopper. But anyway, so Leftovers is all about people trying to make sense of this event. it's sort of like Game of Thrones in the sense that I know Game of Thrones treated fantasy, where the fantasy is certainly part of the show, and the disappearance is certainly part of the show for Leftovers, but it's not the main. Like the show itself is not about, well, what happened to these people. It's really more so about, okay, this event happened and how do people deal with it. And I hope I'm not ruining any of the show, but you never really get a conclusive answer about why 2% of the world's population just disappeared. So it's curious in that regard. It's really an interesting existential show. There's a lot of philosophical points to it. It's really fantastic. It's based off a book written around 2011, I think, by Tom Perrotta, and then picked up by Damon Lindelof, who created the show with him, and he was the creator who also was behind Lost, the television show Lost. Okay. Let's see what she can throw at us. But anyway, so a lot of these characters will probably be named after, or a lot of our Pokemon will be named after characters from various seasons of Leftovers, so let's see what we can do here. Probably not much, given that Holy Wayne's attack was now lowered. Yeah, let's get Nora in here to do some damage. Unfortunately, that's not going to really do anything, but that was a nice try. Yeah, yet again, not much. And thankfully, you don't have a ground type yet, so we're just going to keep on hammering away at that. Holy Wayne is interesting, though, because Kevin Garvey's son actually runs away to serve under Holy Wayne. Take it easy, that's mean. Sorry, Picnicker Liz. And we can get her phone number. I don't think she gives us anything good, but we'll see. I'm still trying to make a list of the numbers you want. Funny enough, I tried looking up online, like if anyone made a list like that, and there's no consensus answer on what's the best list of phone numbers to keep. So I think we'll just have to wait and see. Ooh, a bell sprout. Let's see what Kevin Garvey can do here. A lot of wild Pokemon here. A lot of wild Pokemon. Alright. Luckily now the special... So I should probably also mention that the special status, or the, I guess special status, changed in this generation. So you no longer just have one special, you now are split into special attack and special defense. And that is it nerfs a lot of psychic types. It nerfs many Pokemon, but it also will, by that way, be a rising tide that floats the other boats here. I think this is one of my favorite Poliwag sprites. This one is brilliant. Oh, that's not brilliant. Okay, looks like Holy Wayne, we're gonna have to switch out for a little bit. Do a bit more switch training until you get an electric type attack. One thing that has not changed since the first generation is the move pools are still awful in this generation for many Pokemon. Oh. Alright, let's see what you can do here, Kevin. Let's hope you wake up at some point. Yeah, like Mareep here. At level 9, we learn Thunder Shock, which is great. But then 16 Thunder Wave, Cotton Sport 23. I mean, we're not learning any attacking moves again until level 37 if you stay Mareep. Kevin Garvey wants to stay in my bad graces here and not do anything. Yeah, and actually, so Ampharos, who, oh man, this is crazy. Kevin, I do not think this is, there we go. Come on, Kevin, we're still early on. We're still trying to figure each other out. This is not the impression we want to have. Yes, we will keep doing some switch training. Hopefully they don't land a 55% hypnosis on us again. Actually, now that I think about it, if they do hypnosis twice and are faster than us, they might actually... Okay, well, let's just hope that doesn't happen. Oh. There we go. Let's see what the odds are of that. The odds that you would miss on both. It's about a 20% chance. I'll take that. And finally, Holy Wayne learns Thunder Shock. Kevin Garvey levels up. Sorry, Fisher Henry Splash. Let's use a potion on our friend Holy Wayne. Just so that way now we can start attacking some of these guys, get some experience up. But yeah, the move pools being rough are really nerf a lot of these Pokemon. And to be honest, it made my decision on Pokemon to use a little bit more interesting here. Particularly because, like I said, I don't want to reuse Pokemon generation over generation. So, you know, it also thought to me, like, okay, well, you know, if this Pokemon is great, like, let's say, Gyarados or Heracross, but their move pool isn't awesome in this generation, maybe I want to save them for a different one. Alright, Holy Wayne. One thing that we can do here that I'm not going to do just yet, and I'll explain why, is go into the Ruins of Alph. The Ruins of Alph would have been right off of Violet City. And the reason I don't want to go there just yet is because we can't explore all of the Ruins of Alph. We can explore some of it, but I want to hold off until we can explore all of it. So I'm thinking I'm gonna save it for a little bit later in our playthrough. Alright, now Holy Wayne is holy rolling. Sploosh and splash. Alright guys, I guess neither of you want to talk to me again. Not that I really need more sploosh and splash. Oh, Fisher Ralph. Fisher Ralph is well known because he is someone who will call you incessantly. The Goldeen sprite is very similar to Gen 1, how it's sort of standing up and it's got the kissy lips. Still, that's curious. I guess it's maybe later generations where they have it sit down a little bit more. But anyway, I've never really used Mareep through a Johto playthrough, which sounds strange to say, considering that like Mareep is one of the quintessential Johto Pokemon you hear of. Okay, now's the time to talk about the gifts your mom gives you. So she will call you randomly based on random intervals. Well, I guess they aren't random, but based on the amount of money that you've saved. And if you might remember, when we very first left our house, we said yes to our mom saving some of our money. So she takes 25% of all money you earn in battle, and it automatically will go to her if you say yes. So she'll call you and she'll put items in your PC that you can use throughout the playthrough. Oh, and actually, first we want to talk to Ralph. We will have Ralph call us. Okay. So anyway, your mom will, at various prices, she will give you different items. So when you reach certain amounts of money, she'll start to purchase items for you. And unlike in the Heart Gold, Soul Silver remakes, there are only a handful of items that are capable of being purchased. Once you've got them all, you no longer receive any more items. We should have just gotten the Repel, which will prevent wild Pokemon from... Well, we all know what Repel does. It prevents wild Pokemon from attacking you for 100 steps. But that will be when she has $200 from you. It goes all the way up to $22,700 that she has to save up. Now, some of the items are Repel, Super Potion, Hyper Potion. But once you get up to $1,800 saved with your mom, it starts getting real interesting what she will start purchasing for you. So at $1,800, she will purchase a Charmander doll. And the Charmander doll can go and decorate your room at home. Not your actual room in real life, the room in the game. At 3,000, you get a Moonstone, which you can't really get very easily elsewhere throughout the game. 4,800, the Clefairy doll. 8,000, the Pikachu doll. And then finally at 22,700, you get the big Snorlax doll. Oh, come on, Wayne, hit through this. Yes. Way to go, Holy Wayne. And there we go, Holy Wayne leveled up pretty quickly to the rest of the team. So the big Snorlax doll is, between us chickens, what I really want to get. I've never gotten it before in this game, and I think it'd be fun to be able to put it out there. Alright, speaking of putting out there, let's put Kevin Garvey out. Give him a redemption tour against a Wooper. Alright, Kevin. Kevin. Good job. So, a little bit ago, I was talking about the weekday or day of the week siblings. And so, here on Route 36, or, when we get to Route 36, which was a little bit up, that's on our way to the ruins of Alf. There's nothing we can do there quite yet, so that's why we didn't head there. But you could find Thursdays. You could find on Thursday, you can find the Thursday sibling, Arthur, who will give you the hard stone. On Tuesdays, you can find Tuscany on Route 26, or Route 29, who will give you the pink bow, which boosts normal type moves. Now, we're playing currently on Wednesday, so we can't find either of those two. But I will keep an eye out for who we can find and when we can find them, etc. Found some good Pokemon in the grass. Well, let's see if we agree with that. Alright, youngster Gordon. Oh, a Wooper. We've seen our fair share of Woopers here. Let's see what Kevin Garvey can do. Yeah, I figured you wouldn't stand a chance against Kevin if Kevin didn't get it in his own way, as he's seeming prone to do. Now, as you can see there, we only got 160 Poke coins, or Poke credits, I guess you can call it. So that's not that much. I'm going to talk to when only 25% go to your mom. So here, if you talk to this guy, he will give you a Slowpoke tail for $1 million. Now, my understanding is that even if you say yes, he will not actually give you anything. Even if you have the money for it. Alright, here you can get a Great Ball, which is great. Also around here is when you can find the Friday sibling. Again, it ain't Friday, so we're not finding anyone. Friday sibling is Frida, who'll give you the Poison Barb. You do want to talk to this guy, though, who is one fishing guru, who will give you the Old Rod. And it's just good to see a little bit of the world with the Old Rod. Alright, let's check, though, our PC. Oh, Super Potion. Okay. That's not what I was expecting from Mom. I was expecting the Repel, but... Alright, we must have more money saved for third than I thought. Yes, we did beat Faulkner. Oh, that's why Peter is so concerned with us beating Faulkner, is because likewise, he hasn't won his wings clipped. But now, unfortunately, we're rolling with Holy Wayne. And yeah, I think that's going to burst his bubble. Spiro, sorry, you're also not going to do really anything. Or survive, for that matter. Okay, Holy Wayne, man. Alright, now that we're down toward this southern area, I gotta remember to keep talking to these people. Just in case. Alright. So now we enter Union Cave, which is the early cave in this game. Unfortunately, Holy Wayne's not going to be able to do much. So, well, let's try and do some switch training, maybe. And there are some Zubats in here, like this guy. Alright, well, let's hit one Thunder Shock and go from there. So in here, you're going to be able to get... Union Cave is a lot bigger than the little bit that we're going to see here. And we're not going to be able to take advantage of that, though, just yet. What a surprise. I'm likewise surprised to find you here. Okay, Hiker Daniel. An Onyx. Well, I know the perfect antidote to you. And it'll be our buddy Kevin Garvey. I find that more so than a lot of the other early Pokemon games, there's great type variety early on in Johto. So if you think about it, we have encountered a lot of grass and water Pokemon already. Electric Pokemon, we have rock, we have a lot of normal, flying, bug. Like that is a lot of good Pokemon, and a lot of ones who you can keep on your team for a long time and can be staple team members. Especially if you pick Cyndaquil, you could have essentially your entire team laid out for you, or most of it, before you even get to Bugsy, the next gym leader. So I think that helps a lot with boosting Johto and saving you from some of the level curve issues you have later on, or could run into later on. I think here it's just going to be the Kevin Garvey show. And I'm sorry about that, Russell. We need Holy Wayne to get a little bit of experience, though. Alright, let's Razor Leaf it up. Hey everyone, and I'm back. Ran into a little bit of a technical issue. I believe it had to do with storage on my Mac, which I'm still looking into. I'm having a storage issue with all of these videos, and I'm trying to decide where I want to save them, what I want to do, etc. So I ended up freeing up a little bit of space, and that should help out here. Alright, let's get back to business. So this will be a fun little edited video, huh? Alright, and Holy Wayne grows to level 14. Geodude? Let's just keep Kevin Garvey out now. I believe Holy Wayne should have more HP than Kevin anyway. Well, maybe not anymore. Poison Powder. Yeah, we want that. That's gonna be good. Let's do that instead of Growl. I'm liking this defensive build for Kevin. Alright. Yeah, actually, and now Nora is going to be leading up our party. Very nice. Gotta tell you, the Zubats are in full force, it feels like. I like a few characters with spaces in their name. I don't really do that a ton for a lot of the Pokemon games. Actually, I want to come back and talk to this guy. I've got to get into a better habit of doing that. Alright, Nora. Let's do a super effective Mud Slap. Oh. Okay, well, I'll take it. The Geodudes really are just mirror images of each other. They're sprites. That's pretty funny. Okay, well, you know, hard lesson we had to learn about making sure to talk to everyone after we battle them. I'm sure I'm gonna forget here. Maybe leave a comment and remind me of every person who I forget to talk to battle again. Fire Breather Bill does not send out a fire Pokemon. Quite curious. I don't want to know what toxic coughing gas he's breathing out. But, you know, let's just hope Nora isn't inhaling any of that. What do we always say? Don't get cute, especially when it deals with PP. Alright, well, at least it doesn't really come back to bite us, but that was a prime example of getting too cute. Alright, Nora, don't even give us the opportunity to get cute. Just knock it out in one hit. You know, let's get cute. And it pays off at a 95% rate of paying off. I think we'll call that learning our lesson. Fire Breather Bill, I flamed out. Don't worry, I'm gonna talk to Bill. I haven't forgotten. On weekends, you can hear a roar from deep in the cave. Funny enough, well, I won't tell you what he's referring to just yet. But I disagree that it's on weekends. Well, I guess it depends on how you look at things. Oh man, it's almost just as hard to control this as it is with the Game Boy. I roam far and wide in search of Pokemon. Alright. Pokemaniac Larry. Just in time with his Slowpoke, huh? And just in time with us with Holy Wayne being out. There we go, Wayne. Could have used that critical hit the first time, but won't hold it against you. These Pokemon maniacs still love Slowpoke. Yep, your poor Mon. There's nothing really down here, but let's just confirm. I shouldn't say nothing down here, but nothing that we can do right now down here. I'm just gonna run from the Geodude. We'll attack any Zubato we find. What is TM39? Swift. That's a good one. We want to save that though. So as you can see, you can only get out of here with Surf. We don't have Surf yet. Every Friday, you can hear Pokemon wailing in the deep. That is accurate. Before, I would just say Friday is maybe not a weekend, but look, teach their own. Friday night is the best part of the weekend. If you ever watched Disney's The Weekenders, TV show, then you agree with me. Hopefully. Alright, let's get away from that sand shrew. Although, sand shrew's pretty cool. Sand shrew did make the sweetie list. I don't think Sand Slash did, though. Finally, we have a fire breather with an actual fire type. Alright, Holy Wayne. Let's see what we can do against this Vulpix. Ah, that's great. Nice. Sorry, Fire Breather Ray. His Pokemon's fire lights this cave. Okay, well, that's nice. It's a fruit-bearing tree with a poison cure berry. And this is one final battle. He still has plenty of energy left. Okay. Hiker Anthony. Also a very common hiker name. Alright, let's put out Kevin. Okay, Kevin. And Holy Wayne grows to level 15. Nice. Machop. No, let's keep Kevin in. Machop gets an upgraded sprite this gen. I think Machop's got a better sprite than it did last time. It's not as, like, bulbous and lanky and all. Okay, and Hiker Anthony was defeated. And Holy Wayne! Alright, Holy Wayne is evolving. Holy Wayne evolved into Flaffy. Nice. Well, Wayne, I think you just gave us a great reason, first, to check your stats out. Alright, a Flaffy. And now everyone is level 15. I think Holy Wayne just gave us a great time to pause here, right before we take on our next little bit of the journey, our next leg. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for liking, subscribing, following, commenting, all of the above. And please tune in for our next episode where we continue on our journey. Oh, and where we also talk to Hiker Anthony and get his number. Wow. Well, that is a great time to end it. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.